Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Joe True and Love, here again with another edition of Sports Overview Topics. This episode number 129. Some good stuff as we're gearing towards we're in actually the home stretch of the NFL regular season, past Thanksgiving, smoothly in December football. We're getting a little more dived into towards the NBA season, talk NBA, and as well as some MLB signings have been on the board as well. So we'll talk about a bunch of stuff and more. But before I get into it, thank you for joining me. If you're new to the podcast and you want to see more sports overview topics, sports related videos, you can find them all on the homepage. Click the subscription there in the corner, and you can find all of them in your subscription and mailbox, etc. Like and subscribe. So let's get into it. First and foremost, want to get thoughts and prayers to one and condolences to one family of Mike Leach. Mike Leach, the former Mississippi State head coach in college football, passed away the other day at the age 61. Mike Leach, it's been well documented on the podcast that I've been gearing more into college football the last number of years. And Mike Leach has been one of those personalities because, Mississippi State, has been a good program, a good solid program over the last number of years. And, I believe their last game they won the Egg Bowl. Now they'll gear towards another bowl game. Either this weekend or next weekend. So interesting enough. But, he's definitely had an impact on college football and football in general. Part of the doctrine of the air raid offense that we see a bunch in college football and some inklings into the NFL. Still not going to that. And again, it's been always a good program as of late. Many under his coaching tree, that's impacted football. Dave Armanda, the head coach of Baylor, the coach of last year's Big 12 champions Baylor. Lincoln Riley, his stellar year for USC. Cliff Kingsbury for the Cardinals, that coach. His impact is still being felt today. Gone too soon at age 61. And, his impact as far as football concerned will still be around for sorry, many years to come. So thoughts and prayers with his family and Mississippi State and his former players, you know, Dak Prescott, um, Gardner Minshew, just name a couple. I mean, certainly felt Mishew's presence, and yeah, thoughts and prayers. From college football to a little bit of baseball news. So, some interesting signings have been going around the last couple weeks. Of course, Dr. Aaron Judge re-signing with the Yankees. You know, Jacob deGrom. That's a big signing. Him going to Texas Rangers. That's a big signing. Carlos Carrera is now an interesting one. Going to the Giants, San Francisco Giants. One year after playing with the Minnesota Twins. Had a shaky start last season, but played well down the stretch. Was a bright spot on the Twins team last season. Now he's going to a team that, you know, seeking World Series aspirations. You know, 2 seasons ago, they were close. They were my favorites to win the World Series. Last year, they failed to make the playoffs. And now they'll try to get back on the high horse. And signing Carlos Carrera to a big extension, you know, we'll see. But interesting note there. You know, so we're still not deep in the NBA regular season, but certainly a way has passed in the NBA regular season, and there's been some surprises, some not. Some good teams flourishing, some are not doing great. I think, though, that if you had to look at one surprising team that has been a great story thus far has been the New Orleans Pelicans. The New Orleans Pelicans. Crap, now my foot is itchy. Shoot. But New Orleans Pelicans, and not only that, the re-emergence of Zion Williamson. Zion was basically hurt all last year, had weight issues relatively, and all in all, this season has been heck of one thus far for the Pelicans. So far, first in the Western Conference, Zion, Brandon Ingram, Valanciunas. I mean, it's already a heck of three. And then, I think people forget that they made the playoffs last year after the play-in and gave the Suns a run for the money. And they have a heck of defense. And yeah, the Pelicans. Now, Zion, I would argue, still got way sway in the NBA season, but I put him in the discussion a bit with Luka, Jokic, Jason Tatum. I mean, those four, I would argue, are my top four currently, obviously with Giannis as MVP. But still got a ways away. I mean, Celtics have been great. Lakers have stunk. I mean, Suns, so and so. I mean, Nuggets, great that they're healthy. But yeah, still got a ways away in the NBA season. See how it unfolds the rest of the way. But I do gotta mention this. The reigning NBA champion, world champion, Golden State Warriors have taken a hit. Now, they are below 500. They are struggling, and this certainly does not help. Seth Curry reportedly out a few weeks with a shoulder issue. Seth Curry, you know, cannot put a price on how much he means to that team and that organization. And for him to be out for a few weeks, that's a detriment to them. And considering how good the Western Conference has been feisty thus far with the Nuggets, the Pelicans, the Grizzlies, the Kings, who have been another surprising story thus far. We'll see, but it's not looking good for the Dubs. NFL Week 14 was a bizarre week of picking picks, I must say. There are some strange scores across the board. Now, credit, I did take some chances on some upsets. But and it was still a winning week. But I mean, 7-6 could do better. But alas, a winning week, and I guess I'll take it. But yeah, let's go over the scores from week 14, see how right and how wrong I really was. And give thoughts on all, see how it went. But yeah, Baker Mayfield. Baker Mayfield. Literally 2 days. Might have been 3, but 2 day, a couple days after being let go by the Panthers, after reportedly figuring out that he would be the third string QB on the Panthers, asking for his release, went on waivers to the Rams, and at first it seemed like a question mark, but now you think about it, Matthew Stafford has been dinged up, and they did sign to a big deal, but they need a good backup provided he's not able. And besides, they're not going to have a first round pick next year. It's going to be the Lions, so any type of production they can get now would only hurt the Lions a little bit, depending on where they rank. But John Wolford started the game, and a couple drives in, Baker Mayfield comes in, and he didn't do great, especially with the receivers he's going to. Again, no Cooper Kupp, probably for the rest of the season. Allen Robinson, done. Fractured his foot. You got Higbee, who's a good tight end, and Jefferson, but he's had his own issues this year. But yeah, Baker Mayfield came in, made some nice throws, commanded the offense well, and with less than 30 seconds left, drove down, or less than 2 minutes rather. It was 16-3. They scored 2 touchdowns and drive down to end their losing streak and end the Raiders' 3-game winning streak as they fall to 5-8. The Rams stopped bleeding, and good for Baker Mayfield. Got a flock for how he played last year with a shoulder issue. Did not play great with the Panthers, but good for him. Start off strong and will likely make his first start for the Rams on Monday against the Packers, which got more intriguing. Excuse me. Bills beat the Jets 20-12, and I gotta give it to Mike White. He got drilled, really drilled in this game. He took some shots to the ribs that were just like Geez, but you can't question White's toughness. You know, stood in there, made some good throws, um, in weird weather conditions, and took a beating. But the Bills found a way to pull it out, and they got done. Deshaun Watson did have a better day than he did with the Texans, but it was not enough as the Bengals won in a gritty way 23-10 of the Browns. Deshaun Watson had some quality drives, but you know, missed opportunities. You know, that fourth down on that early drive, the touchdown throw by Jacoby Brissett was just overthrown. And that drive at the end of the game when they got nothing on fourth and goal. I mean, they had some opportunities, but yeah, Burrow and the Bengals held it down and got it done. Speaking of get it done, Cowboys survived the scare late against the Texans. Flick quality, shifting between Davis Mills and Jeff Driscoll at QB. And they took it to the Cowboys. They had some good runs, David Pierce, and made some quality throws. Dak looked great on the fall drive, and they pulled it out, but it looked scary if you're a Cowboys fan. They battled Texas. And Detroit is very much alive. The Lions are very much alive for the playoffs as they beat the Vikings 34-23 at home. I mean, Jameson Williams, a extra element for the Lions. It felt like that set the tone. Maybe that opening touchdown for the Lions as Jameson Williams wide open. And his first catch was a touchdown. And, you know, the offense is finding the rhythm. Jared Goff is doing very well. 22 touchdowns, 7 picks so far on the year. I mean, could argue this is his best year as a pro. I mean, they didn't do great on the ground, but had some good throws. Amon-Ra St. Brown is heading towards that top 10, if he isn't already, a top 10 wide receiver. The Vikings need to do something on defense. They need to do something. That offense is not the problem. It is not the problem. And it'll be easy for media and people to look at Kirk Cousins as a scapegoat in this, but that defense continues to be the problem. And not only that, Dalvin Cook, I mean, yes, he's had over 900 yards, but I've been a little bit underwhelmed a little bit underwhelmed with Dalvin Cook this year. If I'm a Vikings fan, relatively at nothing. Now, credit the Lions defense has gotten better pretty much the last month and how it was in the first month of the season. But the fact remains that the Vikings. Now, good news for the Vikings is there's not like, besides from the Eagles and the Cowboys, perhaps, there's not like an explosive quarterback. Now, I know Jalen Hurts having a great year, but I mean, in a track shootout in the playoffs, it's a different story. And Kirk Cousins, with those weapons, I mean, Tom Brady has not been who he was this year. Aaron Rodgers, same. The Rams have fallen off. I mean, besides the Eagles and the Cowboys, like I mentioned, and it doesn't look like they'll see either of those two in the wildcard round, but we'll see how it fares up. Eagles were beating the Giants so bad they had to go away from this game as well as the Bucks 49ers game later in the day. I mean, terrible. But, Eagles shut up the Giants. The Giants had a tremendous start. 6-1. And, Saquon was running well. Jalen Jones was able to run the offense, use his legs more, and not turn the ball over. The thing is now, over the last month, what we've seen is their deficiencies on offense, both the O-line and receiver. I mean, look, it's difficult because they may very easily double their wins this year and fall the playoffs. Last year they won 4 games. This year they've won 7. And I like pieces across the Giants roster, but as we've been gearing towards the stretch, I mean, it's hard to judge because the receivers, I mean, they whiffed on Kenny Galladay. Sterling Shepard, he was going to be a bright spot for the team in the first month. He gets hurt, out for the rest of the year. Richie James, it's been a carousel at wide receiver. Darius Slayton, he's had flashes. I mean, it's been a strange boat if you've been a Giants fan this year. Where it will end up, or it will be the destination, I don't know. Eagles continued strong. Jalen Hurts had another heck of a day. Miles Sanders and the run game, you know, it's really bode well. I mean, it was 27-0 at one point. Needless to say, they've been one big bunch this year. These games are always fun to watch because of the rivalry, and it always finds a way to be interesting. Ravens, Steelers. The Ravens won 16-14. You know, I like Mitchell Trubisky, but the fact remains, you know, this was a weird game. Kenny Pickett got hurt, exited the game. Tyler Huntley in for Lamar Jackson. He got banged up, left the game. Anthony Brown finished, but same for Mitch Trubisky for Steelers. I mean, honestly, they should have won this game. Trubisky threw 3 picks. 2 of them were in field goal range. So you're talking about at least 6 points off the board. Now, J.K. Dobbins had a great day running the ball, over 100 yards on the ground for them, for the Ravens. They need that, but jeez, this was right for the taking for the Steelers, and yeah, didn't go well. Jaguars took care of their division foe on the road, 36-22. You know, the Titans offense was moving the ball really well to start the game. I mean, it was 14-7, but 4 turnovers by the Titans offense, and the Jaguars just poured it on. Trevor Lawrence had a hell of a game, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Had one brutal looking stiff arm inside the 5. Evan Ingram had over 100 yards receiving. I mean, good for Duval. But yeah, the Titans, after firing John Robinson, now they lose big at home. It's looking a bit chippy in Nashville. It's looking a bit chippy. It was also chippy until the very end, as the Chiefs beat the Broncos 34-28 in Denver. You know, was 27-7. And then, or 27-0 in the third quarter. And then all of a sudden the Broncos, scoring touchdowns. You know, Jared Judy had 3, and it was 34-21 with the Broncos driving, and Russell Wilson played really well in the second half before he got hurt. and he took a blow to the head, hitting his head off the field inside the 5 when he was going for a big run, and he got concussed. Now, thankfully, Brett Ribbon for the Broncos scored a touchdown as they were so close to get within one score. But, you know, no Russell Wilson, Brett Ribbon thrust into the game. Perhaps if Russell was able to stay in the game, maybe they would ink this out, but unfortunate things for Denver. Chiefs held on. I will say, though, that backyard play to Jerick McKinnon, and then Isaiah Pacheco, that late round rookie they took. He is piling on yardage, and he adds more life to the running game, that's for sure. Good for Sam Darnold, good for Steve Wilkes. They got done 30-24 in Seattle. You know, the Panthers came out to make a statement. They started out 17-0, and you're like, what the crap is going on for Seattle? Geno threw 2 picks. You know, they were able to roll back. Ken Walker got hurt, but Geno Smith, you know, who's done much, much better this year. Pretty much his best year. He did what he could to get him back in the game, but, you know, the hole was just too big to climb out of for the Seahawks, and Panthers held on 30-24. And I mentioned another game that got moved away from Fox. 49ers and Bucks. Who would have thought? Looking at the schedule this year. Well, it looked like it was going to be Tom Brady versus Jimmy G until about a week ago. But yeah, 35-7. Brock Purdy did a pretty good job. I mean, less than 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, but made some quality throws, steered the offense. I mean, that team is a Super Bowl caliber roster and team. If Purdy just doesn't F it up, then and they stay healthy, then they are definitely going to be a force in January and the playoffs. But yeah, it's not much to say. Debo got hurt. Don't know the real extent of his injury. Reportedly not serious, but still don't know the timeline. Christian McCaffrey had a great day. uh, when they need it. Yeah. And then Chargers got back on the right foot. They beat Tua and the Dolphins 23-17. You know, Justin Herbert looked great. He looked great in that game. I mean, almost 400 yards, a couple touchdowns. I mean, no interceptions. This game had a really interesting dilemma because, going back to 2020, Tua taking number 5, Justin Herbert taking number 6. Dolphins have the better team right now. Justin Herbert and the Chargers needed this. And got to 17-7 late. I mean, one of the craziest, hectic plays of the year. Dolphins fumble. Running back fumbles. And all of a sudden, looking for the ball, who does the wind up in the hands in? The fastest guy on the field and the team and the league, Tyreek Hill. He scampers all the way to a touchdown and pulls him in it. But Chargers, Justin Herbert made some great throws. I mean, really need this victory. For Dolphins, lost 2 straight and are going to Buffalo Saturday night, and it's not look too great. And to cap off week 14, the Patriots did their business in Arizona. They won 27-13 in Arizona. Thoughts are out with Kyler Murray. I mean, his third snap, he tore his ACL. I mean, it happened so quick in the game. On the highlights, you don't see any plays with Kyler Murray. You only see Colt McCoy. And, he did what he could do. The offense was so okay with Cardinals, but I think it's safe to officially say that there will not be a home Super Bowl for a team 3 short years. It looks like the Cardinals will not be hosting the Super Bowl in Arizona, or at least there won't be a chance unless they run the table and something happens. But yeah, it's unfortunate. I mean, they were a team I had expectations for this season. Now, DeAndre Hopkins injury obviously messed him up. Marquise Brown, his injury messed him up a bit. Zach Ertz, done for the year. Kyle Murray, now done for the year. I mean, it's unfortunate. And their record it wasn't all birds and sunshine and daisies this season, but they were able to wrap it together in some games. And yeah, it's unfortunate. One of the most exciting and fun to watch players in the league is done for the year. Yeah, it's unfortunate. Patriots, so they won, and I still have questions about the Patriots offense. I mean, going starting this season, you looked at the Patriots and they were functioning, but they did not look great. And then for a while, their deep offense looked like it was going. Bailey Zappi, then Mac Jones comes back. The offense looks well for a bit, and they're 7-6, but it's certainly a question. See how Ramondre Stevenson status is, Devontae Parker, but they could very easily lose out. That's what I'm nervous about. If I had to pick currently out of the 3 7-6 teams, Chargers, Jets, and Patriots, looking at the schedules, I probably lean toward the Chargers because besides after the Titans on Sunday, the Chargers have finished with teams all below 500. And the Patriots got weird tests the rest of the way, and the same with the Jets. I mean, although one of them is going to have to win the last game of the season unless they tie. And we've already seen 2 this year, maybe a third, but yeah. However, the Patriots win and they move to 7-6. Let's gear towards Week 15 predictions now, shall we? And we start off big tonight with big implications in the NFC West rivalry. Big one. 49ers, 8-4. Or 9-4, excuse me. Going to take on the 7-6 Seattle Seahawks in Seattle in front of the 12s. If San Francisco wins this, they win the division because they would have the tiebreaker. So even if Seattle wins out and San Fran loses out and they tie, San Fran would still hold the division. San Fran 3.5-point favorites. So Brock Purdy's second start. This will be his first game on the road because against the Dolphins at home, against the Bucks last week at home, in a hostile environment, in a must-win for the Seahawks to avoid falling to 500. Now, Seattle hasn't been bad when it comes to against the run this year. Just been bad. Now, they get Kenneth Walker back, which will definitely help. Now, again, this is Brock Purdy's second start. And, you know, feels like a weird game. I think it's safe to say. You know, Seattle's Achilles heel on defense, like I said. Against the run, what is San Fran's bread and butter? The run and passes over the middle of the field. Now, it's going to be an interesting test because the offense for the Seahawks has gone much better since week 2. Much better. And, it's going to be a tall task. Those rookie tackles of the Seahawks, Cross and Neal, versus Bosa, Drake Jackson, Armstead, Kinlaw. I mean, it's gonna be it's gonna be a fun one in the trenches. I just feel like, must win, you know, it's in Seattle. It's on the road. His second start. I'm gonna go with a dogfight of a game. 23-21. Seahawks do just enough to get the win. Stay alive for the playoffs at home in front of the 12s. We got 3 interesting Saturday games. More so for the playoffs, but I would say 2 interesting games. So, Saturday morning, late morning, whichever you want to say, the Vikings, off that chilling loss to their division rival Lions, host the Colts. Vikings 4-point favorites. Vikings can win the division, clinch the division with a win. You know, Colts were able to muster up in Jeff Saturday's first game as a head coach for the Raiders, and they've been competitive, but have not looked great offensively with Jeff Saturday. And they go to the Vikings. So I imagine that their offense will get a bit of a lift. But at the same time, Vikings gotta have this. This just feels like a gotta have a game. And what have we seen so far this season? The Vikings win the games they gotta have. So Vikings win and clinch the division 31-20 over the Colts and get it done. put the division behind them, and then look for bigger goals. Ravens at Browns. Browns 3-point favorites. Ravens expected to start Tyler Huntley. Lamar Jackson out for this game. A rivalry game, division game, on the road. Browns, Deshaun Watson third game. I expect some more improvement. Tyler Huntley, you know, I just don't think he'll be quite enough. I think he'll make some plays. J.K. Dobbins back for a second game should help, but I feel like they're going to get more rhythm. And, Myles Garrett piling on the last couple games. So 23-17 Browns over Ravens. Dolphins at Bills. Bills 7-point favorites at home. 4 to 7 inches expected of snow. So right off the bat, favor Buffalo over the hot weather fast Chiefs or Dolphins. So already advantage Bills. And here's the thing. It feels like Mike McDaniel and the Dolphins want to be this high-flying, explosive offense, and we've seen they can be, but they have a good run game as well. With Raheem Mostert, Jeff Wilson. I mean, it feels like they're going to try to push the envelope, whether there's snow or not. So I'm going to go with the Bills to right the wrong from week 3. They win 34-24 at home. Falcons at Saints. Saints 4.5-point favorites at home. A bit of a strange game, especially when you consider the whole shtick with Marcus Mariota and the Atlanta Falcons. So this will be Desmond Ritter's first game off a bye. You see, if he can, the run game is still there. The problem is, Drake London, you gotta use him. You gotta use him. You draft him for a reason for the Falcons. So Drake London's gonna have to be Desmond Ritter's best friend if they wanna make it really work. And Saints, offense just very inconsistent. Sometimes they show, sometimes they don't. I think maybe though. Maybe this gives the I'm going with the Saints. I've been thinking about it too much. 21-17. Saints win. Steelers at Panthers. Panthers 2.5-point favorites. The Panthers, if they win out, will win the division. Will win the NFC South at 9-8. So it's still very possible that the winner of the NFC South still has a winning record. Still possible. Panthers, have been playing better, much better. They have a good running game with two-head monster, Deontay Foreman, Chuba Hubbard. A good two-head at running back. Sam Darnold has been great, but he's been going at it. He's not asked to do a lot. He's done well. The Steelers, again, should have won that game if Trubisky just doesn't make bonehead mistakes. I'm going with the Panthers here in another gritty game. They win 23-20. Keep their playoff hopes alive. Even if they lose, they could still very much win this division against the Bucs because the Bucs have the Bengals on Sunday. Eagles at Bears. Eagles 9-point favorites. Bears at home, may be tricky for the Eagles going to Soldier Field in December. It's going to be chilly. Justin Fields can make this competitive, can make this work. However, still 24-17. Eagles get done on the road. Chiefs going to Houston. Don't need to do much on this game. I mean, if the Chiefs just don't have Dameon Pierce have a career day, then they should handle this game. 27-17. Chiefs win. This has got more interesting. This one. Cowboys going to Jacksonville. Cowboys 4.5-point favorites. Trevor Lawrence, in his last 5 games, 10 touchdowns, no picks for Trevor Lawrence. That's to keep in mind. 10 touchdowns, no picks. You know, them not paying attention to the Texans. Bit jarring. And, they play the Eagles on Christmas Eve. So I'm curious if they're looking ahead a bit to that game. I'm just curious. I think this will be a fun one. 33-27. Jaguars. Get it done. Lions at Jets. Jets 1-point favorites. This might be my most intriguing game on Sunday. Talk about a win for both sides, Lions win, they're back to 500. Jets win, they fall to 500. This is a big game for both. Two physical football teams, two teams that their coaches are now rising up in the ranks for Coach of the Year. From what I see from the Lions, this is going to be a fun, gritty game. Quinn Williams is another guy I watch for Defense Player of the Year. 11 sacks for the big guy up the middle. I mean, Mike White, Jared Goff, this could be fun as well in the Meadowlands. Ultimately, I'm going 27-24 Lions over the Jets. Cardinals at Broncos. Broncos 3-point favorites at home. Let me check really quick for stats of Russell Wilson. Not expected to play. So it seems like it's going to be Colt McCoy versus Brett Rippon at quarterback. So the Broncos' offense or defense we know has been great this season. The problem is their offense has sucked this season, which we did not expect. Whereas the Cardinals now, both teams seem like they're fighting for pride at this point. Now, obviously, this is going to be a low-scoring game. Uh, this is a tough one. Gonna go with Cards 20-17 in Denver. Patriots at Raiders. This was originally scheduled to be Sunday nighter, but was left out for Commanders Giants. Raiders or Patriots 1-point favorites on the road. Bill Belichick versus Josh McDaniels. You know, Raiders, I think, still have a chance. It's a small chance, but to make the playoffs. Just feels like a weird game in total. I'm gonna go 20-16. Raiders win at home. Titans at Chargers. Chargers 3-point favorites. Both teams 7-6. Both need this game. I uh, I'm going with the Charge here to win this 24. We gotta check the stats. Traylon Burks. Traylon, will he be back for the not practice? So I'm gonna go with the Chargers to win and cover 24-20. Talk about a battle of errors. Bengals at Bucks. Bengals 3.5-point favorites on the road. Burrow versus Tom Brady. Not much to be said. 31-17. Bengals win. Giants, Commanders. This is going to be fun. Sunday night. Pretty much a playoff eliminator matchup. You know, Giants had the game won, and they let it slip away. Commanders now, they didn't have to play the Eagles. They sat home, got the bye. I think that'll be enough. And they win 27-26 at home to keep their playoff hopes alive. And this game got more intriguing. Rams at Packers. Packers 7-point favorites. Baker Mayfield for Aaron Rodgers. It appears. I'm going with the Packers. A close one, 24-21. They get it done. Okay. Those were my Week 15 picks. Covered a lot in the podcast today, guys, but hope you guys enjoy it. I did as well. Did click the like, leave a thumbs up, help out the video, help out the channel. But thank you guys all. Be safe. I'm Joe, Tone Love. Get out there. See you guys next week. Peace.